Welcome to Point Horror Book Club chat. I'm a creepy doll tonight, and we're going to be talking about The Vanished by CELIA REES. And I've got a special guest, Dawn Kurtagich, who hopefully is more scarier than what I look like right now. Hi guys, hello. Right, I'll just add Dawn in. Hopefully. Scary. So we'll see how many nightmares Dawn's going to give us. Hopefully. I've done it right. Oh, Dawn!
Hi.
Oh my gosh. I'm having nightmares tonight.
I'm having so much fun. I'm living my best life.
Look it. I hope like you're going to go out after this chat, you know, dressed up.
Good. Scared of children.
You look so good. I can't stop. Like every time I look, I spot something different.
I love
It's amazing, Dawn.
the doll. You just need strings on your wrists.
Oh yeah, I went a bit mad on the old blusher, you know, it's just the standard look.
It's just a normal Sunday night affair.
Oh, Melina's put, you guys look fabulous. Kat's put, you both look amazing. This is just our normal look. I don't know what you mean.
Yes, completely normal. I'm going to put it on because I like the smooth. How's this? Is that scary?
Oh my God, Dawn, I'm not sleeping. Oh, that looks well scary. Oh, thanks for dressing up. Like, I'm so glad you did. Even though we're going to have nightmares, all of us. But we're going to be I feel like I've got black lipstick like all over my teeth. We're going to be chatting all about The Vanished by CELIA REES. Emma's put, you both look awesome. Which was like, it's our first Point Horror Unleashed for the book club, and it was obviously marketed as a much darker and grittier than the average Point Horror. Yeah. And often they featured more like supernatural elements, and mainly by British authors. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I thought it was something different to do for Halloween.
Yeah.
And I know that we was chatting about doing it when we did the yearbook before, I think. So I thought it's the perfect time and perfect to dress up. Oh, thanks. I feel like my teeth. Thanks to everyone who's joining in. There will be spoilers ahead, probably from the offset for The Vanished, just to warn everyone, because I always forget to say that. But joining us this evening is our very, very special clown guest, Dawn Kurtagich. Yay! Dawn is the author of creepy novels. So I've got a couple of them here. So The Dead House and The Creeper Man, which is also called When the Trees Crept in the US. But I always love this cover. It's just creepily amazing. I love
the oil or whatever it is on her, the shadow.
Yeah.
And it's the creep.
It's just... But yeah, and you're also the author of Teeth in the Mist and upcoming Blood on the Wind, which is coming out in December. So can you tell us any more about Blood on the Wind?
Yeah, actually, the cover should be released this week.
Yes!
I want to frame it. Yeah, so what people don't know is that Teeth in the Mist is a witch novel, yes, but it's also a vampire origin story. So Blood on the Wind deals more with the vampirism elements. I'm excited.
Oh, I'm really excited. Sorry, I just saw my mum had joined the chat. Hello, Mum. Hi, Mum. Just the average Sunday night. Yeah, so I always love your novels, Dawn. So they're like gothic and spooky, and also intriguing, like formatted as well, like the way that you present the information, the writing. to us. It's amazing, and you know I'm a huge Dawn fan. And also, oh, thank you. And also, as well, really exciting. Next year, you've got, is it your first adult horror, The Madness, coming out?
Yeah, so I think they're classing it as suspense, like psychological suspense, and it is a feminist Dracula retelling with me set in North Wales, where I live. So hopefully it's something you guys will enjoy.
Oh,
I enjoyed what
I can't wait. It sounds so good. I'm like so excited. I can be even more of a Dawn fan than I am now. That'd be great.
people compare the YA stuff with the adult stuff, and if they, because my YA stuff is crossover, so I'm not sure it'll feel very different. I'm not sure. We'll see.
I'm really intrigued. I can imagine. Yeah, because your writing, I do find your writing creepy and dark and things. But so I'm expecting the madness to like really freak me out.
I think that because it was a collaborative book, it's IP, meaning there are other people involved. I think they had to like rein me in a little bit with the creeps. I know I kept going like, but what if this other creepy thing happened? They were like, no, no, it's it's okay. We want to give people hope. We don't want to be like super bleak. And I'm like, really? What a shame.
I like that they had to like rein you in.
Yeah.
I like that. Kirsty's book's so excited and glad that you can publish under your name, although the pseudonym, I can never say that word, so I think I said it right, was a good one too, yes. So the pseudonym, is it Rook Virgin? Am I saying that right?
With the yeah, I think I'll definitely be using Rook Bergen for something else in the future. Maybe a different category, like fantasy or something. I'm not sure, but she's there. She exists. I've got a little painting on my wall in honor of her. You can't see it, but yeah, it's a little rook with a crown on.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing. I love that. And I think I just saw Nerissa brought the Creeper Man when it came out, and there was a Christopher Pike quote on the Dead House as well. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and R.L. Stein, Dawn. I've never noticed that before. Wow. I learn something new every day.
That and put it on the wall.
Yeah.
When Christopher Pike calls you creepy, I think that's probably a life achievement.
Definitely. Oh, I love that, Dawn. I don't know how I've never noticed that before. Thanks, Nerissa. I wouldn't have known that. Hi, Eddie. So the Vanished then. So a little about the Vanished. So as again, there will be spoilers. So it's set, apparently, as we found out last week, it's set around Coventry, which is where I live. So I'm even more freaked out.
Wander about and see if you can find all the locations.
I know. So there are all kinds of stories about the school, about Cassie, Jake, and the new boy in town, the mysterious Fraser, attend, and about the city in general, like ghost stories, hauntings, mysterious disappearances, and they make entertaining copy for the school newspaper. So at the start, it was all just stories. There was like plague graves, vanished children, hidden steps, like loads of really creepy stories. But another child goes missing, and Fraser, Jake, and Cassie wonder if there's some truth in the tales. So what pursues is a tale that goes way back in time and was really totally different to what I expected it to be. And it gave me like a few Stephen King vibes, like It vibes, especially with the exploration of the underground tunnels and the sewers and the kind of things that could be lurking beneath our feet right this second. So, every time I was reading it, I kept thinking, oh, like you don't know what is actually underneath you.
Loved it
scary.
Much.
It's scary.
Favorite one that I've read, I think.
Yeah, it was really different to what I thought it was going to be. It was like a ghost story with a difference.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, like a generational thing going on, which I loved.
Yeah, I loved that whole backstory.
Yeah. At one point she mentions, I think I quoted it, so I wrote it down. She was like, hinting at the ancient presences in the underground tunnels, wraiths of the unconsecrated dead. And then later she says, some violently corrupted monastic order. And I was like, oh my God, this book was made for me. Because I am so obsessed. I put something like that in Teeth as well, with this like monastic order in the underground caves. It's so creepy. Right with your feet.
But it did. Funny enough, when I was reading it, it did give me like Dawn Kurtagich vibes. Like I was like, oh, like I think Dawn's gonna really like this book.
Yeah.
Like it just, I thought it was gonna be a hit with you.
Oh, so good. It wasn't afraid to go dark. And also, one of the characters swears. I
never noticed that.
Yeah, they say bullshit in chapter like 17. I was like, oh, Celia?
She goes there. But I think that's like representative of, they're in sixth form, weren't they? Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a good representation of sixth former. Yeah.
It was so cool to see British things like sixth form and Young Enterprise and Duke of Edinburgh Award. It's like, oh, I did those things.
Yeah. And I know Eddie from Eddie's video was confused about the thing about the quid. You know, when he says, pay me a quid.
It was so...
And I think Eddie looked it up to see what it was, and I think it came up with some old pound sterling explanation or something. But yeah, but I mean, back in the 90s, you could bribe someone with a quid. Yeah. You know, he tried to knock him down to 50p, wasn't having it.
Yeah, give me 50.
He's like, forget it, mate.
What can I buy with a quid?
I mean, back then, you know, you could get some good penny sweets, you know, from the local shop.
Remember those little panda pops?
Oh yeah, you could get those.
Miss those. I used to get them every day.
You could get a lot with a quid. Tam's put they do swear a couple of times in this one.
One. Maybe I'm so like. I was just like.
Oh dear, and it looks like there's some talk about a windmill. Let me just go back, I'm confused. Oh, Karen's on holiday, but she's found Wi-Fi in a windmill in Yorkshire.
Oh, that is good.
Might be haunted, Karen.
Yeah, you never know what's behind you.
No. And Sharon's put oh, is it a haunted windmill? And Sharon's put, love the creepy monks and is it wraiths? I never know whether I'm saying that right. Yeah, that was like, really.
I was just like, give me more.
Yeah.
I love
it. Oh, Sharon's also put 10 Freddos for a quid you could get. Yes.
Yeah.
10 Freddos.
Yum.
And Kelly's put it was a little more grown up than the American stories. So do you agree? Like, did you find it a lot different to Point Horror?
Yeah, it felt more grown up. It felt darker. It felt like she was willing to go places maybe that Point Horror sort of pulls back on. Maybe that's why I liked it so much, because it did just feel darker. It felt like, especially from the point where Jake was doing the research in the library and he discovered that he'd taken photos of these creepy places. And from that point on, I was like, oh my God, like this gets dark. Because before that in the book, it was like pranks and stories, which was really intriguing. What Celia said in her interview with you, that like every school has its own ghost story, and they're reiterated. You really had a feeling of that in the beginning. And then after that point in the library where Jake's sister goes missing, it goes so dark so fast. I loved it.
Just goes wild at that point. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm kind of liking it.
I love the twist as well. Again, sorry if you guys haven't read it, but there will be spoilers, but I just love the twist that it was Amelia Billy, who was the force to be reckoned with. I love that. That was
so basically Amelia was the sister of Billy. And obviously I was a bit confused how obviously Billy had got older at some point, and then obviously she supernaturally kept him as a child to do her bidding, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
the
So
whole life.
yeah,
That's what they kept, like, prematurely aged eyes, because he had lived this whole life. And the idea that an old man, because you're supposed to evolve out of childhood stories as you get older. I think that's why it's similar to It. This idea that when you're an adult you're safe, but then actually you're not. I love that. So
yeah,
adulthood doesn't protect you.
Mm-mm-mm. Definitely not.
We
um, yeah.
When it really grows up.
Oh, and Sharon's put, yes, this was much more visual and dark. My 5-point horror so far. Oh, brilliant. And I saw Karen put something about that character goes, can I just point out that there was a scene where one of the kids goes to his girlfriend's house and drinks beer in the garden while his mates are in the pub? They are school kids, much as in
Yeah.
posh English.
Reference to sex in this one, which surprised me because I had never seen that in a point horror.
No. Well, that's it. I think Anne Finnis, obviously, who commissioned these, like, went, a bit further to try and make it a bit more horror
Yeah.
than the point horrors, which are like mild thrillers, really.
Yeah.
So
But
they
it is
had.
that he's sitting there drinking beer.
Oh, can you just imagine?
Yeah, my parents are in the other room. No worry.
Yeah, and I just saw Atia put the sister and the cat scene
Oh,
was intense. So Amelia, the sister, and that cat scene.
I,
Yeah, that was.
I had to stop at that point. I
Mm.
I won't. I'm embarrassed a little bit, but I did cry.
No, it did get to me because I thought,
Oh,
oh gosh, but I think not that I condone animal cruelty in any way, but did get across,
yes.
how evil,
It was
like
effective.
relentless as well that she was, and she had this other side to her. It did get that across.
It was so
Just
skillful. Like, Celia only had to do that one scene, and everyone was on board and understood what the girl was capable of. We didn't need a lot
yeah.
of patience because the parts that revealed her nature were very short, but very effective.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And Eddie's put, especially the animal cruelty scene, that scene with Billy's sister and the cat. Yeah, very
Yeah.
unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Sharon's put, you're never safe. Melina's put, the writing was so rich in this one. So Celia's writing was really so descriptive
Yeah.
in this, and like, even it just draws you in so much. Did you like the writing style and things?
I absolutely loved it. I loved it how she used British slang and British vernacular of kids in the 90s, especially when the kids were writing and telling their stories. It was such a breath of fresh air to have these voices. I could almost hear them off the page.
Mm.
Really.
Yeah, definitely. It was really, I loved all the stuff with the newspaper and
Yeah.
them having people write into the newspaper with all these creepy stories, because you can just, it's like Celia said in the interview, you hear these urban legends and they just escalate and escalate into all these stories that go through generations of people.
Yeah.
And is spooky in itself. That's scary.
Yes. I love that generational stuff. Although I did have a question. It's just occurred to me. The bit where Cassie got locked in the supply closet thing, was that ever explained?
It was not. It was never explained. I think they left it open ended, but I'm. I took it as that maybe it was because she was. I think at the start she said she was claustrophobic or mildly claustrophobic. So I'm wondering whether it was just a bit of her mind, because she was on that floor where these ghostly things were meant to happen. So maybe her mind was just playing tricks on her a little bit.
Yeah, I think
Um,
accurate and fair.
because I don't think it would have been Billy.
No,
I can't see why Billy would have done that to Cassie at that point.
unless it was
So,
her, but I don't see why, because there were no kids around. There were no creepy kids trying to lure her away. So yeah,
no.
and also the printouts with the little hands. That was weird.
Oh, yeah, on the photocopier, yeah. So, I mean, maybe it could have been Billy
Maybe
shutting her in.
he
Could have been.
scare her so she wouldn't investigate.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, like a scare tactic to scare her off.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask Celia. I'm gonna write her and be like,
Yeah.
what is because during your interview I hadn't quite finished reading it. So
Same, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to ask Celia that one and see if she remembers,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
be interesting to see what she says.
That Fraser was basically Christian Slater and Heathers. It gave me such a visual after that. From that point on, that's all I saw.
Yeah, because as soon as I started reading Fraser, that's who straight away I pictured Christian Slater and Heathers. I couldn't unsee it. Was literally from the first page that I read him. That's why I thought, oh, I'm going to ask Celia, and she was like, yeah. So it just gave me those vibes, and even all the way through, it didn't change for me. He's just Christian Slater.
Yeah,
and that's how he'll be.
Although I was like halfway through, so he kind of changed in my head. But see anything other than Christian Slater after
that. I like that.
Thankfully, not was Christian Slater.
Yeah.
I kept expecting that because after she said that, I was like, oh, well, clearly Fraser's going to be a psycho. Well, clearly.
Yeah, I think it was probably my fault by saying, did you base him on Christian Slater? So now we was just expecting him.
But you called it. It was so good.
Emma's put 90s teens were off the rails. So Eddie's video said, so what exactly was Billy, a flesh and bone ghost? So what do you think Billy was to you, Dawn?
I love the idea that he represents trauma, like the ghost of family trauma. You know, the way she described, was it Fraser who like ripped his jacket? He said it felt insubstantial, but still there.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's, you know, I don't know. I really don't. I'm guessing it's just a version of ghosts that have some kind of corporeal thing. Because even when Billy was leading Fraser through the underground and it was flooding, he had to be saved as well. Like he had to climb walls. He couldn't just walk through walls. So maybe in this version of ghosts, it is corporeal, almost like more like a wraith, like a revenant, almost.
Yeah, I couldn't make up my mind myself, but I kind of liked that, and I thought that was quite clever of Celia to do that. You don't actually know, so that's like a mystery in itself within the book. Like you just take it that he's just this being that is existing because he's doing his sister's bidding.
It hadn't actually even occurred to me. That's how well she pulled off this world and this like until you were asked that question, I hadn't thought about it.
Yeah, I just took it. Yeah, I just took it that he was just there for one purpose, more than anything. Kelly's put, I like the descriptions, but then at the same time, I felt there was a lot of description. Yet I find it hard to follow what was going on and who was doing what. So yeah, like towards the end, I think when it was escalating quite quick, I did have to go back a couple of times just to reread things. You know, when they're in the caves.
I kind of cheated. I switched to the audiobook about 2/3 of the way through because I had a migraine, so I couldn't like see. So I switched. Audiobook narrator did it really clearly with different voices, so I never had that confusion. But you did, you say?
Yeah, just because I think I was reading it quite quickly because it was quite fast paced and really eerie when there was in those caves at the end. That I was getting a little bit confused as to who was in what part and things. But when I reread it, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm there. Yeah, and I'm creeped out.
Yeah, and I mean, if you do the audiobook, she makes it really clear who is doing what. Yeah. So if you guys haven't finished it, maybe give the audiobook a go because it's really good.
Yeah, I have heard the audiobook's good, and it's just the different voices and things.
Like she did Fraser as Scottish, which later in the book it says he lived in Scotland, but I hadn't thought that he was Scottish, and then I went to the audiobook and I said, oh right, yeah, he's Scottish. Cool. It gave it so much depth.
Oh, I love that.
with a Scottish accent. It was kind of bizarre.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I didn't think that either. Oh, I might have to listen to the audio book now. Oh dear. Eddie Mays put this huge crow, thinking it was actually a raven, was just cawing at me non-stop from the trees across the street, eyeballing me the whole time. Creepy, but thinks she wanted to be included.
I think that she's trying to lead you somewhere, but if she's taking you to caves, I would recommend you don't go.
No, stay away from the
Yeah.
caves.
But if she's shiny things, then great.
And Kirsty's put, oh my god, yes, I thought of Christian Slater for Fraser. Oh, that's amazing. And Eddie's put, in response to what we thought Billy was, I loved that, a trauma ghost. So you said he was a trauma ghost. Yeah, I like that. That's good. And Eddie's put as well, I love the theme of brothers losing their younger sibling and the trauma that came with it. So as well as like the scary stuff, obviously the book dealt with quite a lot of deeper things like friendship, not first love, but love, and like losing family, and grief that comes with that. So did you like that? Do you like that in your horror stories? Do you like that element?
I love it. Yeah, I feel like horror is such a perfect vehicle for things like that, and this book did it really well. The antagonism in the beginning between Drake and Fraser was so well done, but then that moment where Amy, Jake's little sister, is missing, and Fraser like gets it and comforts moment, like kind of choked me up a bit, because people who've been through similar traumas, when you are seen by another person who really gets it, it's quite a powerful thing. It's so validating, and it makes you feel so much less alone. And horror is such a perfect, vehicle for that. So I love when horror deals with that. It's perfect.
Yeah, me too. And I'm with you. As soon as it was Amy, the little sister, who goes missing, so Jake's little sister goes missing, and Fraser just goes into full. He almost changes a little bit as a character and a person, in my opinion. He, as you say, he just goes into full action mode, and that's how him and Jake really bonded, because they didn't get on to start with, did they?
Yeah, Jake had a bit of this. No, sorry, Fraser had a bit of this bravado, and I love the fact that Celia pointed at it. Like his character recognized that he was changing, he was going through something. Yeah, I thought it was well done. It was cool to
Yeah.
male characters as well. It's rare, I feel like, to see that.
Because at the start I wasn't 100% sure on Fraser, because he did that bet, didn't he? You know, with the two twins. Well, they weren't twins, but the two younger lads. Yeah, that was it. I just imagined them as twins. That's why I said twins. That's how they came across to me, like these naughty little twins. But he did. He did that bet.
Yeah.
And I was a bit like, oh, Fraser,
Yeah.
no.
I was like, right, that's it, you're done, you're a crap character. Plus then she said Christian Slater from Heathers, and I was like, well, clearly psycho. So yeah, he was a pleasant surprise for me.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
he could be redeemed in my mind, because that's an unforgivable thing for me, to trick a girl like that. But yeah, she redeemed him so well.
No, she really did. It was but perhaps that was the trick, like to make us hate him. We're like, oh,
yeah.
And then that's just the progression of the character and the growth, and
yeah,
then we just loved him by the end.
Heck, she pulled it off. Cheers to you, Celia.
Cheers, Celia. And Eddie's video put, the book reminded me a lot of a movie called Ordinary People. Great film, highly recommend. Oh,
I haven't seen that. What is it?
I've not seen that one. I have to look that up.
Yeah, I'm like tempted to do it right now. Love film rec. Is it?
Yeah.
It's not horror or anything like that.
Oh, let us know, Eddie. Is it a horror film, or who's it got in it? We want to know. And Melina's put, yeah, audio books are useful for migraines. Melina listens to a lot of books that way because of migraines and headaches. So yeah. Melina's put, I really felt for Fraser. He was so neglected by his family because they were dealing with their own grief. Yeah.
so real.
Yeah, it was really well drawn out.
The way his brother died, that also, there was so many moments in the book where I was like, oh my God, like it's horrible. Like just the accidents.
Yeah.
And feeling.
Yeah. And it was so well done as well, because it wasn't even though, what we're trying to say, so even though like it was a tragic accident with his brother dying and things, it was like just only a couple of pages worth of story, and it just makes such an impact like straight away.
So skillful. The Amelia cat thing was so quick, so impactful. The accident, the moment between Jake and Fraser when Amy's gone, like such tiny little moments that was so impactful, and there were so many of them.
Yeah, and Kat's put, it definitely seemed sketchy at the start, but he did redeem himself. Yeah. Eddie May put, I love that Fraser didn't end up as the bad guy. I did wonder at first, but he did redeem himself well. And Tam's put, yeah, Fraser was cool, actually. I liked all of the characters. So out of the core 3 characters, like, who was your favourite? Would you say Fraser was your favourite?
Do you know, I really love Cassie. I tend to be more drawn to female characters, but Fraser, do you know, he might actually be my favorite character. He was so complex, so complicated, and he just the way he surprised me. I think he might be, yeah. Oh, but I love Jake too. Oh, I can't pick.
See, I loved Jake.
Oh,
I love Jake.
Jake to be my friend.
I want him to be my big brother, like, just so that he could pick me up from school and look after me. He was just so sweet. I just loved Jake.
Yeah.
And I loved as well that he was kind of like the underdog, a little bit, and obviously had this unrequited love with Cassie.
Oh, poor guy.
I know, my heart couldn't take it. I was like, oh, he's so in love with her. But I liked the way how Cassie knew this, but she was worried about hurting his feelings, just being friends. And I'd love Jake.
Yeah, I love Jake. Honestly, he might be my favorite. I can't pick though. I just love the 3 of them. They are like the original Harry Potter 3.
Yeah. And one thing I also loved about Jake as well was that whole library scene, and just the way he kind of like takes the time to crack the code, and he's there when the library opens, and he's like determined to figure out what's going on in this town. And I think he might have been my favourite. I think.
So lovely. Who would you cast to play him if they were to do a movie?
Oh gosh, that's hard. So if you're thinking like Christian Slater as Fraser, so if you're thinking like Heather's Christian Slater, so I'm trying to think who around that time.
Maybe.
Oh, do you know who would have been a good Jake? Jonathan Brandis.
I can't pick.
He's in It. And he's in Neverending Story 2, I think. Oh, he's been in loads of stuff. I've probably said the worst ones.
He in the original It or the remake?
The original.
The original.
Yes. I can't remember who he played now.
Was it Bill?
Narissa will know. I'm hoping Narissa will know, but I think he might have played a good Jake. He's no longer with us, sadly, but back in the day,
yeah, I know who you mean. He played Bill, I think.
Yes, I think he did. Yeah,
great.
Yeah, he would have been a good Jake. Yeah. We'll go with him. Say that again.
About Cassie.
Maybe a young Elizabeth Shue. I think it's just because I've rewatched Adventures in Babysitting recently, so she's just on my mind. And Nerissa's put, I knew you were going to say that, Shelley. Now, I don't normally bring up Jonathan Brandis, but I can picture him as Jake.
I can now too. Yeah. If you'd said that when I started, I would have been picturing him, yeah.
Yeah. And who would, you got any ideas for Cassie? Or
I almost say the girl from 16 Candles, you know, the ginger girl?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I can't remember. No, it's gone out of my head. Oh, yeah, she would have been good.
Or or from Heather's, what's her face?
Winona?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, Winona Ryder. Oh, yeah, Jonathan Brandis. Jonathan Brandis was in Christopher Pike adaptation of Fall into Darkness.
Oh.
And Molly Ringwald, that's it. Thanks, Sharon. I don't know what it is. My mind goes blank. Like, I'm just like, oh.
Me too. You say name and I'm like, I should know this person. But...
Oh dear. Then Sharon's put, I loved the three main characters. They were so different but worked really well together.
Yeah.
And then Eddie May's put, I actually liked Billy a lot too, to have the strength to go against his evil sister the way he did to save the day and all he went through. Oh, I loved him.
Yeah, and also he just came across as so tired. She did so well. Also, you know what I love also about this book is his sister, the fact that she would lure these children in and then sort of like infect them, and then they became sort of like vampire children. It was like a thing of haunting trauma, vampire rape thing.
It was like its own kind of
creature
thing.
At some point they mentioned metal teeth, that they had pointed metal
claws.
Is that because they were in the underground and they had used nails? I don't know. Like
it's just there's so many questions.
Yeah.
But I quite like that I didn't know what they were, because I think it makes it more scary.
Yeah, absolutely it does.
Eddie May, I've already read that one. Sorry, I've got behind on the comments. I got distracted by thinking about evil creatures. Oh dear. Oh, so Eddie's videos put Ordinary People stars Mary Tyler Moore, Donald Sutherland and Timothy Hutton, directed by Robert Redford, and won an Oscar for Best Picture in 1980.
Yeah, I should definitely know this.
I know what I'm going to check that out. And Kelly put Warren and Todd just disappeared. I hope that they were like one of the they were both one of the horrible entities.
Yeah.
No, they weren't. They were too old, weren't they?
I just love that she said she based them on a couple of her real students. I'm just picturing adults reading them going, wait a minute.
I wasn't that bad. Oh dear, yeah, I love that. Eddie's videos put, my fave characters were Jake and Fraser. I felt they had great character arcs. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for Cassie. I feel she was just there. What do you all think? Do you think
she didn't change? She was tricked and then forgave. She did sort of feel like a means to do things.
Yeah.
I liked her passion for the paper and her integrity, but she also did forgive Fraser's bet really quickly.
She did a little bit. Then she was kissing him very quickly as well. Yeah, I think that might be what it is. She didn't really have a character arc. She was kind of just there.
I think she was a representation for the other characters of a healthy family, or for Fraser especially. She was like a representation of what a family should be.
Yeah, because there's much reference to like her living on the rich side of town, whereas all the other town is like the other side of the town is decrepit or crumbling away, basically. So they did kind of reference that a couple of times, didn't they?
An idealized something, you know, like Fraser was saying, he didn't want to leave her home because it felt so warm and the family was together and spoke to each other and spent time together.
Yeah, I did like the way she did stick up to Warren and Todd and Warren. She was like, "No, you do what I say."
Yeah, she was cool as a boss lady.
Yeah, but I think that is what it is with Cassie. She didn't have that arc. She just remained quite linear.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was kind of just there, wasn't she?
The only thing that did change is initially she did have backbone, or she didn't want to trick her readers, but then later she goes along into the cave. She sort of capitulated to that very quickly, and I think it worked because it was that Jake was going to be in danger. So she felt it was a responsibility. But outside of that, she was very stable.
And I did like the fact that oh, excuse me. I did like the fact that Celia split Cassie off with Jake down the tunnels.
Me too.
Because I felt then that like bonded their friendship more. So obviously this unrequited love that Jake had for Cassie, I just feel like it bonded them more as friends. Bonding while you're being like hunted down. But...
Children with red eyes and metal teeth. I agree, because we hadn't actually seen Jake and Cassie too much together. It was mostly reference to them being friends and things that had happened in the past. So it was nice to see them interacting.
Yeah, I thought that, and I thought that was quite clever, not going down the easy route of just putting Cassie, you know, with Fraser. I kind of liked that.
Yeah.
Claire's put, I loved the book. Something that slightly bothered me though was that I thought there was going to be 7 actual steps linked into the storyline, but they seem to just stay as this myth.
Wow, okay, so I was obsessed with the 7 steps, and I also thought it was going somewhere, but I completely forgot that it didn't go anywhere because I was so satisfied by the ending. But now that you mention it, yeah, actually, I could read a whole book just about the 7 steps. We've should edition. Celia, please write that book, please. I really
Well, I think Celia said those are based on somewhere around Coventry, like an actual real thing. So I have to try and find where that is.
Coming with you.
Yeah, please, you can save me.
I love that you don't know where the 7 steps lead, but also everybody's 7 steps are different. So what would your 7 steps look like?
Oh dear, what would they look like? So, see, I picture them as, when I was younger, we used to have, my nan and granddad used to have like this, what we called a bungalow. It was basically like a tin shed, like in the countryside. And to get down to it, like over time, it like sunk a little bit. Like down into the ground a little bit, but so to get down it, my dad had to build all these steps to get down it, and I always used to, when I was younger, jump off the last step, because I didn't like, it was really weird reading this with the 7 steps because I always never used to tread on that last bottom step.
Wow.
Yeah, so we built these steps down, always used to jump off, but then years later I think I was standing on the 2nd step up and a snake went across my feet. That's why I'm scared of snakes.
Your future self was warning you. Imagine what would have happened.
So to me, like, the 7 steps look like that. I just, every time it was mentioned, I pictured those steps down to like this bungalow. I know that sounds really strange. How about you?
In the best way.
How about you, Dawn? What are they like to you?
In my head, they flicker. They change in like a fraction of a second to a million different things. So I can't settle. They're in one minute they're like wooden planks that are rotting, and another one they're a bridge that crosses water, and another one they're, you know, cement stairs leading down into a basement. They flicker super fast, and I can't settle. Boring old movie.
And if you trod on that last step, where would you end up?
That's the thing, isn't it? That's what makes the legend so interesting. And if that is based on a real place, I wonder if there are children's stories linked to it already, and what those stories, because children's stories are really creepy.
Yeah.
One of the books I've written now, I wish I could tell you about it, but I can't because it's on submission. It might sell, and then I don't want to give it away. But it involves one of these children's stories that I grew up with. Children are creepy. Dark.
Well, funny enough, when we read the second Forbidden Game and I had Amy on, we was talking about, they used like creepy children in that book and like the old nursery rhymes and things, and you don't actually realise, like, these, me and my mum was talking about it the other week as well, some nursery rhymes are dark.
They really are. I love it. So cool.
Well, do you like a good creepy child in horror?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I always found children very creepy, even as a child. But yeah, creepy, like children's nursery rhymes, children's stories, children's legends, and then also the actual real things about children going missing in the world. Like, it's creepy, it's weird. And children are innately terrifying because they go through, developmentally, they go through a period of time where they are scientifically classified as psychopaths because they can't empathize. It's like a period of time, which is why some toddlers are just such assholes because it's just a natural part of their development. And so I think that's innately creepy. And things like Chucky take advantage of that, you know. So
Yeah.
we're bred to kind of be afraid of kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I always think of like creepy kids out of Stephen King novels. I just think he does creepy children, like.
Yeah, and nostalgia. He does nostalgia really well too. Often childhood.
Yeah. I've often traumatized our childhood. I think Melina was talking about Cassie, and she was very useful plot-wise for the Coventry setting, so she knew a lot of local history and geography.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of was the Hermione character, because I think one of the directors was saying about Hermione, she's a good device where you can just explain things and Hermione will just know because they've written her as a character that's a know-it-all. So if you need to convey information, they don't need to go look, they could just ask Hermione. And Cassie kind of fulfilled that for this book. It was clever.
Yeah, it was very clever. Claire's put, I find Cassie a lot less irritating than most point horror females. Yeah.
Me too.
Eddie May put, oh my god, yes, Shelley, do let us know if you find the 7 steps. Yeah, because I'm sure Celia said they were around here, so I'm gonna have to.
She gets back from them. If we ever again.
Oh dear. Yeah, so Kelly's put, it was the best vehicle but not fully utilised as the 7 steps. They did see steps before going down to find Amy.
Oh, I didn't notice that, so maybe that's what that was the reference.
Yeah. And Karen's put, I love the screeching of the basement darkness people when they didn't get to feast.
Yeah.
They reminded me of the ring wraiths in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's impressive. I love that she kept making rat references in relation to the children. Like at one point there were red eyes all around, but they weren't rats, they were children. Because rats are creepy enough. I love rats.
Yeah. And I think I saw Sharon put earlier, they just nibbled on people.
Yeah.
Nibble. Oh dear. Kelly's put, yes, Karen, I thought about the minds of Moira a lot. Oh, I'm so bad at pronouncing stuff, but hopefully you know what I mean. Yeah, and Eddie Rice put, the way the 7 steps were different for everyone. I wonder if it meant what leads you to what's scary for you. So your ultimate fear that leads to your ultimate nightmare. Oh gosh,
we need that book, Celia.
I know.
7 steps book.
We do, definitely. Claire's put, there were so many creepy aspects. The visuals of the sewers were pretty vivid too.
Yeah.
That was.
I wonder if she'd actually gone down to the sewers under Coventry. She also references like a bunker, like a circular room with shelves, a sort of war bunker. Yeah. I wonder if that exists.
Yeah, because so she referenced that in the like the town hall kind of thing. So I automatically was thinking, oh, Coventry Town Hall, and I was like, you don't actually know what is underneath anything, really, do you? Yeah. Teddy's put, love the 7 steps, such a clever idea to incorporate this as children's myths and rhymes. They can be creepy. Yeah, definitely. Really, really creepy.
Often don't go anywhere. They just repeat themselves in the telling. So kind of faithful, the fact that the stairs never were talked about again. It just, that's how they work.
Yeah. And I loved that that story didn't really change over the time. So all the stories that were sent into the newspaper about the 7 steps all seemed very similar, whereas like a lot of other stories like changed and developed, like word of mouth and things like that, but that stayed true to it.
I like that aspect of the book, the link between grandchild and grandparent through these creepy stories.
Definitely. And Teddy's put, I'd love Celia to write a follow-up, as I think she could expand more on everything in the sewers. Yeah, definitely.
Go down there.
Oh, creepy. Sharon's put, all those underground places exist in Coventry. I did a ghost tour there, so they do exist.
Shelley, you and me, we're gonna do this.
Scared.
I'm scared.
Oh wow! So I wonder if you can still do that. I'm going to look it up after. I'm definitely going to look this up. Oh dear. And also, like, when I finished the book, I was looking up like things in, so where I live, I was in this, we live in like a little town. I was looking up things that might have happened here, and I totally freaked myself out because apparently there's a road which is like our main road. Like there's not like one way in, one way out. So our main road apparently is haunted by a woman who stands at the roadside. Apparently she's been spotted several times, and I was like, oh, this must be old, I was thinking, but no. I read on, and apparently, so in 2005 she was seen wearing a white dress with long black matted hair. In 2012 a driver said she spotted a figure on the roadside with her hands against her face and a dreadful expression. And then again in 2012, 2 people claimed to see a figure by the road dressed in black, again with long black matted hair. And apparently this apparition is meant to be a ghost of a woman who sadly committed suicide after being attacked on that road. I know. I was like, what?
I mean, when so with the Taste of Darkness anthology, the initial like vibe of the anthology was we were told to write basically an elaboration of a local legend. That was the initial sort of prompt. I think it sort of deviated from there, but that was the original. So yeah, I started reading about all these different like local ghosts and things, and it's amazing these stories persist. And Coventry, ancient city, so you could just imagine how ghoulish things happen.
Well, our town as well is like built, it was an old mining town. So I was like looking up like mining ghosts and stuff, you know, and apparently there is like a man who apparently goes around carrying a sword in like a cavalier outfit, and apparently he I think he died in a mining accident or something to do with the mines that were here in the 50s or whatever, and apparently he still haunts around here.
I'm gonna have to look up stuff around. I'm also in this is a miner's house, what I'm in.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to look at it. Apparently in America there's a website called like Died in Here or something where you can look up your house.
Oh no!
If people have died in your house. I don't know if it exists in the UK, but if it does, it probably every single house will have.
I'm not sure. Could you do that? Could you look? I'm sure, was it Kat Ellis who told me that she'd looked something up to do with her house, I think. I'm not sure, I might be wrong.
Could be.
But yeah, I don't think I could do that.
Would you want to know? That's the thing.
No.
Would you?
No.
I think we're fairly lucky though, because I think there's only been like one family that's lived in this house since it was built in 1890. So, and I don't think anyone died here.
Well, I know I won't name the place, but it has been in the news. But we've been, through my work, we've been doing some work on a building site somewhere, and as they've gone down, they've actually found bodies in the ground, and they've had to call like people in to excavate the bodies and things. But I saw a picture of it because it's on the news over here, and they're literally like all just lined up neat, like just full skeletal bodies. And yeah, and then I shouldn't laugh, but there's one right where he's like torso. It looks like his torso is like cut off by the the bit of I don't know, a ledge or something, but it's not. His legs are actually over the other side of the
Oh,
pit.
oh,
So
ow.
he was died a very painful death. But yeah, it was just creepy to see because it was. I think it was like an old supermarket store or something had been built on the top of it, and it must have been years ago, like maybe a I don't know sacred ground or something. The way they're all laid out
Yeah.
and things. So
Wow, that's insane. I've
creepy.
just seen a bunch of comments about creepy cemeteries, dead
Oh,
and things.
let's have a look. I'm a little bit far behind. Let's have a looky. Oh, creepy cemeteries. Oh, Sharon's put my back garden backs onto a cemetery. They're fairly quiet neighbours.
Probably very considerate.
You'd be a bit worried if they was loud, like having a little party. Oh dear. Oh yeah, so Cat's put yes, I knew it was. I knew it was Cat's house. The previous owner of Cat's house died there.
Debris.
Yeah, and
But I've completely forgotten.
then Cat's put, I'm pretty sure she died in our bedroom because it was the only room where the carpet had been taken up. Oh yeah, I remember Cat saying this on one of our chats.
She would have been there a while if they had to take the carpet up, though, right?
Yeah. Oh dear. Oh, I saw Eddie asked a question. I'll just scroll back up. So Eddie's video put, what did you all think of the ending? I felt it was a bit rushed and wanted more from Billy's sister, like a bigger reveal and more of her talking about what she did in the past. So did you like the ending, Dawn?
I did. I was in a migraine attack, so I think I was just happy that I got through it, to be honest. I
Oh, bless you.
the end again, but I don't remember feeling, and I literally only finished it last night. I don't remember feeling disappointed, but it hadn't occurred to me that the 7 steps hadn't recurred, that Todd and Warren had vanished. You know, I think maybe I need to go and revisit it. Did you think it was rushed?
I was more a little bit like, because it took a totally different turn to what I expected. So I think I would have preferred it. And don't get me wrong, I did enjoy it, but I would have preferred it if they carried on down the ghostly children route that you can't explain why they're kind of human, rather than making them these like
Yeah,
creatures. Because
yeah.
I was a little bit, it took me out of the ending a little bit at that point. I liked it. I was like, oh, okay, this is different because it went in a totally different direction. But I was like,
Yeah.
not sure how I quite feel about it.
It did surprise me. Yeah, it became very practical, right?
Yeah.
Like ghosts. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I think.
And then all I kept thinking about as well was, I think is it in Toy Story when the naughty boy makes the spider leg person with the baby's head on. And, like, and that's all I kept imagining. And then, funny enough, when I went back on Instagram, Sharon had posted something in the stories and put like a creepy like thing, and I thought, so it's not just me who thought that.
I love that.
I couldn't unsee it once I thought about it.
Unsee it now.
Kelly's put point horrors are often rushed at the end. I felt like it took a while to get an angle, then went underground, then it was kind of over. Oh, okay. Because I felt like they spent a lot of time underground.
Do you think it's because they have like a specific word count, so they're edited down?
Yeah, possible. Yeah, because they would have been trying to fit in that, definitely try and keep it in that point horror style. So yeah.
Indy survived so long.
Mm.
Really talk about that.
No, they don't. Kirsty's put in quotes, whoever says sewers don't smell are nice. Sorry, I've messed that up. Whoever says sewers don't smell and are nice are lying. But like, who's saying that? Yeah.
Such a.
Oh, can you imagine the smell?
Was it Fraser or was it Jake who said? I can't remember.
Oh, one of them. Eddie May put, please, for the love of goodness, please, Shelley and Dawn do the ghost tour. Sharon just mentioned and record it. Oh my god.
Freaking lootly. We'll do it like ghost vlog style.
You probably wouldn't hear any like actual audio because it would just be like beep 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 beep. I'll be going, save me, Dawn.
I'm out of here. Bye.
Then it'd just be me crying like. Oh, I am a wimp with anything like that. I'm such a wimp. It
seems not, but I really am such a wimp.
Yeah, I really am a wimp. Oh, Sharon put
the corner together.
Yeah, not a cower. Sharon's put, Dawn, there's probably a miner in your walls suffering for eternity.
I thought I had weird banging the other day. Actually, I was sitting here, no joke. I have a bookcase behind me and this massive file, which has been sitting there since I moved in 2 years ago, just crashed onto the floor. It's nothing wobbled. I was sitting still. It was very weird, and I've chosen it.
We know it's the haunted miner. Oh dear. Yeah, well, I think funny enough as well. I'm sure. I think it's on Prime or something. There's a TV series, and they filmed something round here in someone's house. Did I write down what it was called? Oh, Help! My House is Haunted.
Oh my god.
In 2019, they did a house which is around the corner from where we live. So
literally writing that down. I want to watch.
I'm sure it's on Prime or it's on somewhere, and it was like season 2 or something like that. But yeah, it's literally just round the corner from where we live.
I wonder if they stuff in North Wales.
Well, it's weird as well because obviously we've just moved house and it's been quite windy lately, hasn't it? And like there's all these new sounds in this new house. So I'm lying in bed at night and I'm like, I don't like it.
What was it?
And Kev's just like, well, you just go to sleep. And I'm like, I can't. And then there was like, when we had that really bad wind, there was like a scraping sound like on one of the walls, which was like behind our bed, but it must have been like a wire or something because it hasn't done it since. But it was like going like this all night. I was like,
oh my god.
I was like, I'm not going to live.
Minus rat children.
Kenny's put, we live on an estate that used to be a psychiatric hospital. Definitely haunted.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Sorry, Kelly. Cameron's put, I live in a rundown council area. I bet hundreds of folks died in my house before I brought it and fancied it up. Oh God, definitely haunted.
That scene, actually, I wouldn't mind seeing.
Oh dear. Anyways, but recently finished Desperation by Stephen King, and it was in a mining town where a mine collapsed in on Chinese migrant workers. And sadly, that bit is true. Oh, so sad, but would be creepy for the town. Oh, that is sad. Yes. Yeah. Claire's put, I'm a member of a local ghost group and happy to sit in the dark and chat to the darkness. Oh, the thought of living or sleeping somewhere haunted totally freaks me out though. Yeah, Claire.
One weirdo who's just like asleep, snoring, completely happy, and then you're there like
Eddie May's put, there's an old Civil War cemetery not far from my house. I usually see my raven perched on top of one of the gravestones when I venture to McDonald's. He's watching you. And with regards to the end of the book, Cameron's put, I wanted Billy to be freed and to walk through the frames like Point Horror Khaleesi from Game of Thrones. So did you want Billy to live, Dawn?
No, I wanted him to be at peace. He seemed tired to me. He seemed really tired.
Yeah. And he was a hero in the end. He helped in the end for the right people, didn't he?
Yeah, and it's also weird because, like, was he actually living? Did he, like, die. It's very strange.
Yeah. And Tam's put, I wanted a creepy end with the people in the hospital saying something wasn't right with Wendy. Yes! That would have been cool. Yeah, that would have been so cool. I like that, Tam. Eddie's video put, the ending kind of took me out. Yeah, that's how I felt a little bit. Like I was really, Eddie's put, I was really invested in this real and dark story, and suddenly I was in the movie Labyrinth in the best way I can describe. But Eddie's put, he did like the book. And Kelly's put, like what I said, I would have preferred the ghost angle to be realised more than just suggesting they were rat children of some kind. Nibble, nibble.
Yeah, I think probably me too.
Yeah. Just seeing what everyone else has put. Oh, Eddie Rice put, I love Help My House is Haunted. The one dude with the curly moustache is awesome. I watch it on our travel channel. Well, one of those, I'll try and find the episode. I think it's series 2.
Yeah.
Maybe like episode 6, 7 or 8 or something. It's like halfway into the series. It's in Nuneaton. Well, by where I live in Nuneaton, like we live between Coventry and Nuneaton. So yeah, it's really freaky.
I need to see.
Cameron's put, I love that Dawn is dressed up as the creepiest Halloween thing and is also drinking tea from the most cute festive Christmas mug. I didn't notice that.
It's so funny. Every Halloween I start getting really excited for Christmas. Like I'm already eyeing my Christmas tree.
I love that. Sharon's put, I love ghost tours. I used to guide one in York back in the 90s.
Wow.
Amazing. I think Emma's just been to York and she said it was amazing. And she said she loves the creepy stuff. Eddie's video put, Billy reminded me of Binks. I think it's Binks the car, it's Binks the cat, isn't it? From Hocus Pocus.
It was very
autocorrect,
wasn't it?
Yeah. And Eddie Mouse, but I just love how all of us are so into all things creepy and demand more gore, more body count when reading or watching things, but are literally all scaredy cats.
I could have had a more accurate read myself.
That I know, I really feel that. Oh, yeah, Kenny's put, that's why we are all scaredy cats. Yeah, definitely.
You know what happened in the dark.
And Eddie's video, I'm just going to call him Binks the car from now on. Not Binks the cat. Oh dear. And Kirsty's put, I refused to go on a school trip because there was a myth about it being haunted. Yeah, there was loads of, like, especially when you went on school trips, you all tried to like scare each other before you went.
My senior school trip was supposed to be so cool, but the year before had done it so badly that they didn't let us have ours.
Oh,
do anything wrong?
Oh,
damn it!
Oh, yeah. So overall, then, Dawn, just to finish off, so you had a good time with the book. You liked it. We want a sequel.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, we want the 7-step sequel.
I'm right, Celia, and be like, Celia, come on, girl, come on.
But yeah, I think overall I enjoyed it. I read it quite quick. I flew through it. Yeah, and it was an interesting twist that I didn't expect, because I just thought it was going to be about ghost kids or creepy dolls or something. So it I like that it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and it was all about Amelia's kind of brood around her.
Yeah, I like the twist that it was this little girl that was evil. I love those potent moments we talked about, like with the cat, with Amelia's, history of the accident, and the Fraser Jake connection moment. There were lots of cool, impactful things that I haven't experienced in Point Horror. Plus, it was British things reference. That was my first time experiencing that with Point Horror.
Yeah, and I definitely think, like, Celia definitely did what Anne Finnis envisioned about Point Horror Unleashed, which was to make it more dark and more gritty.
Yeah.
Because I know Point Horror Unleashed does get a bit of a bad rap sometimes, like not being as good as Point Horror, but I think you just have to go in with a mind that they're just
Yeah.
completely different to the Point Horror we know, which is what I kind of liked about it, and that's how I went into it. I thought, no, it's not going to be anything like Point Horror, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, I just went in completely open-minded, didn't know what to expect. I do like CELIA Reese's writing, so
Yeah, she's amazing. I could have talked to her for hours
me
last week. She was
too.
fascinating, honestly. Karen's put, we're not scaredy cats. We are all just highly aware of the ways we could die thanks to decades of Point Horror training. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and Shaman said I was the one doing the scary stuff. Still am. I think that means when she was on the haunted tour things. Yeah, we're not going with Shaman, Dawn.
I would love to be the one doing the scary thing.
Oh no, yeah, I think I could do that. If I was the one doing the scaring,
Yeah,
I think I could tolerate that. I just don't like to be scared myself.
I think that's what I did in school. I was always scared.
Yeah, it just never ends well. If sometimes I feel brave and people convince me, yeah, come in this haunted house or whatever, and I think, yeah, I can do this, and then I'll just end up quivering wreck and crying.
I mean, I have a really piercing scream, so I don't envy anyone who scares me.
Yeah. And the thing is, when I am occasionally brave, I'm always the one who gets picked on as well. Like if you go into one of these interactive, like haunted houses, I'm always the one that gets picked on because I draw attention to myself because I'm normally crying because I'm that scared. But like it's always me. I get pulled out of the line, and we went on this one at Alton Towers once, and they convinced me to go in this house. I think I've told this story before, but I literally cried all the way around. Then you went up to the master's bedroom, and obviously that's like the end of it, where he's saying what he's done to all his victims, and he's got like this fake knife thing, and he like pulled me out of the line, stood me in front of everyone, saying, "You're gonna die!" Like, it's not like, let me out of this house. It's just, it was like somewhere on CCTV out there is me having a full-blown panic attack with this fake knife stuck at my neck. Yeah. It wasn't a pleasant experience, yes. And I don't even remember how I then got out of there. Like, I must have just like totally blanked after that point.
Screaming, bashing everyone, like, get out!
Yeah, I was like, yeah. And all I remember is, I do remember getting outside, and then they'd set up one last scare outside. So as I came around the corner, so I was already a mess, crying, came around the corner, and this bloke dressed up jumped out and boo, and I literally bolted. I just literally, I was gone. I'll just never forget it. And on my ex at the time, I'd cut all his neck open because I must have gripped his coat that tight as we was walking around. That my boyfriend at the time, sorry, and I cut his neck open with the zip. So we had to go first aid. It's foreshadowing. Oh dear, yeah. So yeah, that was not pleasant. But yeah, Dawn, thank you so much. I've seen a few more comments, but yeah. Oh dear, I was made to go into a cell alone at Bodmin Jail on a ghost tour. I was challenged to last 5 minutes, less than a minute I was gone, Claire said. No way. No way, Jose.
You might get possessed. Real danger.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, what your brain just does to you? It's crazy. Anyway, Dawn, thank you so much for joining us, dressing up and like being fantastic, and for playing along with that reel that we did. If you haven't seen it, check out the reel that me and Dawn put together.
That was so genius, the way that you edited that. It was amazing.
Oh, I had so much fun, and like you dressed up so creepily. Like when I was putting it together, I was like, "Oh God, Dawn's actually pretty scary."
I thank you. I thank you.
But no, you're fantastic, Dawn, and you know that I love you.
Thanks.
So do check out Dawn's books. Check these out. Dead
Thank
House,
you.
Creeper Man. Look out for Blood on the Wind in December. And I cannot wait, Dawn. I'm so excited. I'll be like saying buy Dawn's books to everyone. Yay! and and Eddie's videos put Dawn should be a regular co-host.
I agree. Always.
Oh, we would love that. We would love that. You'll have to come back again very, very soon. But thank you so much. And thanks to everyone in the comments as well. And for giving A Point Horror Unleashed a try. Thank you so much. All right then, guys. Thanks, Dawn.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.